Welcome to Brand Lover, honest, real, and lively conversations for flourishing entrepreneurs and budding business owners on a mission to cultivate a heartfelt brand that connects with their purpose-driven mission. My hope is that you walk away feeling inspired and refreshed with a weekly takeaway in your back pocket that you can apply to your life or business. Well, brand lovers, we did it. We have reached 100 official episodes of Brand Lover with Rachel Reiter. I cannot believe that we are here already. When I embarked on this journey, I had absolutely no idea where it would take me. I didn't know if I would like podcasting. Turns out I love it. I love heroing other women in business. I love exploring how, as women in business, we can have fulfillment in our lives and our professional endeavors. And it's so exciting to me that you have you share that with me and you have come along on this journey with me. So I just want to say a massive heartfelt thank you if you have been here from the beginning or if you've sort of joined us along the way. My heart is just bursting with gratitude that it's even possible for us to have reached 100 episodes. So if you do love Brand Lover, if you listen to the episodes, if you resonate with them, please do rate and review wherever you listen. And don't forget to subscribe so that you get the downloads into your AirPods every week, usually every week, sometimes not every week. If you listened to last week's episodes, you'll know why. But to celebrate our 100th episode, I thought what better way to do that than to chat with my podcast manager and editor and right-hand woman, support woman in my business, Monique Felder. She is the woman behind Monique Felder Kajabi Weapon, and she empowers heart-centered coaches to elevate their services through the power of Kajabi. As their unwavering support system and enthusiastic cheerleader along the way, Monique and her team aim to free up their clients' time and energy, enabling them to focus on the most vital aspects of their business. So, buckle up. I cannot wait to share Monique's story with you. Welcome, Monique. I'm just so thrilled to have you in this podcast chair. I have been trying to get you in the chair for months, it feels like. So welcome. Can you please tell our audience about yourself, Monique, as a person? Because, you know, like I know that I know you. I know there's a few quirks and fun things about you, and also your beautiful brand.
Oh, wonderful. Well, first off, thank you so much, Rach, for having me here. I know it's been a while to get here, so thank you. So I am Monique. So as a person, I am a mother and a wife. I've got one son, and we live in rural South Australia, so right on the River Murray. Been a country girl, born and bred. Though I do like, going to the city every now and then to get a bit of a, fill my cup that way. I really enjoy spending time with my family and friends. I also am a huge lover of being in nature. So a lot of times I'll be pottering outside. And then in line with that as well, I am a huge animal lover as well. So while I'm pottering, I'll either have my duck or my chickens or our dog following me as well. So never alone.
Or the new edition.
Oh, yes. And the new addition, yes, our pet magpie.
Baby magpie.
Rural
Lovely.
life. Um, so for me, my brand, so I am the face behind Monique Felder Kajabi Weapon. I have been in business for 3 years now.
3 years, it feels like a lot longer than that.
Oh gosh, yes. It definitely feels like it's been a while, but I started in the midst of COVID.
Yeah.
I found myself in a position where I needed to make a change. And yeah, just found myself in the midst of COVID, and that's where I found the online world.
Yeah. So you started in like a completely different industry and career path before you founded your business, completely like removed from where you are now. So tell us about that. Tell us about that shift in career, and how and why that has changed so much. Like what happened in, to get from A to B, I guess.
A to B, yeah. Definitely is. It's quite at first it feels like it's left field. So before I delved into having my own business, I was in the financial industry. So I had been there for 10 years. I had worked my way through all different types of roles, and found myself in management, which is I actually really enjoyed. Enjoyed helping, supporting and guiding people. And due to COVID, I got made redundant. So that's where then I found myself in the position of like, okay, well, what's next? But it also gave me a really good, it made me step back and realize, okay, well, what is it that I want to do? I want to, want to make sure that when I've got that flexibility to be mum, to be part of the family, and to be able to do those things that I had, hadn't been able to do for my son's first couple of years. But then also made me be able to, it made me able to be really think about like, okay, well, let's get real deep here and find out what it is that I enjoy. Um, really chasing that, that tick of satisfaction in life. And yeah, I was somehow discovered that the world of becoming a VA.
Yeah.
And so I sort of, looked at that and loved the flexibility that it gave me and allowed me to be me and be able to really dictate a lot, because it's my own business, so I can, I can do what I want.
Yeah, yeah, how good. And also like, but how much is there to unlearn when you're coming from that
Oh,
9 to 5, like that mindset, like the idea of freedom in your own business is so appealing, but it's funny how we sort of bring those habits and mindsets across, isn't it, into our business?
Oh, 100%. Like being, being so structured, it was definitely really hard to, one, almost be given a piece of rope and run with it. It's like, oh, okay, well, I've got,
Yeah,
I'm home, I can do this. Oh, I'll
yeah,
quickly go do that. And then I found myself like, oh, wow, okay, like, yes, I got things done, but was I really productive in my business? So it was a
yeah,
very big learn. And like I said, to unlearn those habits of like, there's even points where I was like, oh, looking at the time and I was like, oh, I need to make sure that I can go to lunch. I'm like, it's just me. I'm
yeah,
pretty sure, I'm not going to have, I don't need to seek that approval from myself. So,
yeah.
trying to become unstructured in a way to structure for that flexibility that, having my own business allows me.
Such a good way to put it, to become unstructured, but to like lean into the structure of a home business. So, I mean, so you say that you started by becoming a virtual assistant.
Yeah.
I would love to know how you did that. Like, did you just decide that you were going to do it? Like, how did you get?
Well, yeah.
I'm just going to do this. Oh.
Again, I don't even know how I found it, but I stumbled across Amy from Seed Virtual Assistants, and that's where she was introducing her program about how to become a VA, and again, it was just a lot of things that be becoming a virtual assistant and having my own business, those features that really draw me in. I was like, you know what, this is definitely ticks all the boxes, and being made redundant, it was I had to jump all in. I really had to sort myself out very quickly to be
Yeah,
able to support myself and my family.
yeah,
So, obviously a lot of research and poor Amy, there was a lot of questions sent her way. But it was enough for me to make that decision of like, all right, yeah, I'm throwing myself in there.
yeah,
And I am that type of person. My risk appetite is zero. So it was, looking at absolutely everything. But ultimately, I had to either get in or get out.
yeah,
Like either you do this or let's, find something else to do.
yeah.
Um, so yeah, really just threw myself at it. And it was so great to be able to build up that foundation for my business. And being where I had was in my previous career, I had a lot of skills, a lot of knowledge already. So I did find it quite easy, but it still really made those foundations really quite set in. So then, and I think I definitely feel like that's part of, my success in my business is making sure those things are, I was walking before I started running.
Yeah, and I was going to say, like you say that you invested before you were really ready, and like I know that you have invested heavily into your brand, into you're always up leveling, you're always, leaning in, you're always looking at new qualifications and how you can serve your clients and like new tech and you're always always doing it. And it's like I'm like, whoa, this woman doesn't stop. But it's amazing. And he's like, we say that, like, I look at you, you've only been in business for 3 years, but for I guess having witnessed probably a large proportion of that, I
Yeah.
think, like, it feels like to me like you have the maturity of someone who's been in business a lot longer. And from my perspective, like that, I believe that's because you have taken those big leaps. Like you say that you don't like what did you say? The risk.
My risk appetite.
Your risk appetite is so low, but you do like you really do just like jump on it anyway. Something I really admire about you. Ever since you kind of where you jumped into brand alchemy with me, which is my brand strategy program. And when you did that, like because we were as we work together. Like as I said in the intro, Monique she's my like Kajabi lady. Like she's my kind of, I don't know, she keeps me accountable, let's say, for a lot of things in my business. But to be honest, when you joined Brenda, I kind of thought, oh, maybe she's just being nice because I'm your client. I was like, oh, that's lovely. Anyway, how have these investments, particularly in your brand, like we're a branding podcast, how have these investments paid off now? Because after Brand Alchemy, you then invested in a visual brand package with me, and that sort of set you on your niching path. So yeah, just let's explore that and how that sort of
Yeah,
changed where
came
you were
about.
going. Yeah.
Yeah. Look, yeah, I totally understand where you're coming from. Like I say about risk, but it's a calculated risk. And I
Yeah.
think when I make these decisions and when I went into business, I was like, okay, I want to make sure that I am delivering my 110%. Like it's
Mm,
just the type of person who I was. So I wanted to make sure that in every part of my business is to I guess that level of standard. So when I first came into business, I did invest in like a logo, like a branding, and I
mhm.
just felt so like it's not my strong point. That's why I outsourced it.
Yeah.
I just felt really quite flat with this particular designer, and I just
Mm,
felt lost. I felt like there was so many things missing from it. So
mm,
when when we started working together and I was assisting you and your live round came through, I was like, oh my gosh, yes. Like I felt like there was so much missing from my logo that I was like, okay, I want to invest in that so my clients can see and understand and feel and know who I am. So it was like a no-brainer for me. So and I absolutely love that. Like, as I'm that type of person. Like, I know that I have my strengths, and then there's
yeah.
areas that I'm not great at. So, but I like to be able to understand some elements.
Mm,
And that's where Brand Alchemy was fantastic. I got to actually understand the
yeah.
process. But and going through that, and I think that we were talking about foundations before, but in this regards, I think Brand Alchemy gave me those foundations. I was like, okay, like this feels so much more aligned for me and my business.
Mm,
But there was still that element. I was like, oh, there's parts that I just couldn't wrap my head around.
yeah.
And that's where, at the end I was like, you know what? No, I need to take that leap. I need to take that jump and, come into that and into your package for that to,
Mm,
you're the expert in this. And honestly, I think that was also too, like when I was starting to, like I had pivoted and started,
yeah.
niching straight into Kajabi, but it wasn't, you know, public. Like it wasn't like, I
Wasn't
had told,
clear. Yeah.
yeah. And really going through that process of branding, and when that all came out, like it was just, that was really like, it was like a slingshot, pushed
Yeah.
me straight in and
Wow.
put me on that way. And honestly, it has been absolutely amazing. Not only, I remember when we were going through it, you're like, oh my gosh, I got an idea. Because I couldn't even portray what I wanted. I was like, I think I know what I want, but I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
So again, kudos for your patience in doing that.
I don't remember being bothered at all. I remember having fun with it. So I don't think I needed any extra patience.
And you were like, oh, I got this idea. I was like, yep, all right, let's run with it. And when you showed it to me, I was like, yes, like that is exactly what I wanted. It was what was in my mind, but for whatever reason, I just couldn't
Yeah.
even, articulate that. So
Yeah.
and it was really quite nerve-wracking because it was so different,
Yeah.
and especially from what my previous logo was, which looking back now and reflecting was my previous logo. There was no alignment
Yeah.
whatsoever. And I remember I was like, oh yeah, I like this color, I'll pick this color. So when I went through brand alchemy, you're like, no, you don't pick colors because you like them. And I'm like, oh, that makes sense.
Dating. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear that a lot. Yeah, and yeah, you say it was like a slingshot. That's so exciting. So how do you think things would have worked out if you hadn't implemented such a strong brand? Like if you hadn't just been like, let's do this, let's just do it in those early stages where you did niche and you were heading in that direction. Like you just like were like, yes, niche, go, bam, do it.
Do it.
It would have been incredibly uncomfortable, I'm sure. But what do you think would have happened if you had sort of stayed safe and just sort of stayed with your generic brand? And yeah,
Yeah, do you know what? It's a really good question. And I think, a couple of things. I think if I had stayed safe and stayed with, branding that wasn't aligned and the messaging wasn't clear, I actually don't think I would still be niched right down. I think I would have gone back and offered, very generalized services, which there's nothing wrong with that at all. But for me, and what I really enjoy and where my strengths are, it wouldn't have been successful. And I think, also then the messaging, I don't think people would understand either. Like, if I had knowing the type of person, I would have tried to, bear it out and, persist. But I think, it would have been quite confusing for some, like,
yeah,
clients to understand, like, okay, what is it that you do, Mon?
yeah, exactly. And that's where that dilution of your message comes into play. Like if you don't have a really clear niche, so shall we say, because through the brand alchemy process, you kind of like it's not like we specifically dive into niching, but the process helps you naturally uncover what your niche is because you have to be known for something for that, like to really have that refinement for you, like it's just so clear now, as opposed to somebody who is just a generalist something. To be a specialist something is much more appealing to people who are seeking help in that specialist area. So it just makes so much sense.
Oh, exactly. And I think, there's an element of fear for people, wanting to niche down. And I know I felt that, like, when in those early days, people are like, oh, niche, narrow it down. It's like, oh my gosh, then I will have no clients. Like there'll
Yeah.
be, I won't be able to be successful. And no, it's the exact opposite. Once you niche down, like you said, you then become recognized as an expert in that industry. And especially in the online world, it's just continually to grow. So, it's a funny feeling to go through. But yeah, it's when you niche down, that's when things start changing. Your clients will then start coming out of the woodwork as
Yeah.
well. And your ideal ones as well, which is why it's so important to make sure that your branding and your messaging is so clear so you are attracting those ones.
Yes, exactly. 100%. Um, so to me, you are just such a go-getter and all-round sweetheart.
Thank you.
And you recently embarked on my most intimate mastermind experience inside what we call the Kindred Collective. Could you please share about that, your experience inside that container, and how have you evolved since we started in May? Like, what were you seeking from that experience, and what you've learnt, uncovered, unfurled, evolved into since then?
Oh, yeah. It's really hard to put into words. Like, just being part of this collective has just, again, it's been a real pivotal moment for me in my business and also personal as well. So I remember when it was very, when you first talked about it, I was like, oh my gosh, sign me up.
So
And
you there straight at my door knocking on. I mean,
pretty much.
so beautiful.
Like for me, I think it's really important about getting that support and guidance inside business, and and from a personal level as well. And there had been throughout my life, I've always had support and guidance from that mentor and coach side. But when I went into business, I definitely recognized how really important that is for to be successful. So before this had even become a spark in your eye, I had experienced other coaches, and it just nothing had seemed to there weren't great experiences, and it just there's always something missing. Like it was either very salesy. Oh, you got let's get you to earn 20,000 a month, like those real ick
Yeah.
type, to ones who are very masculine. And I for me, after experiencing a couple, I really took a step back and I was like, okay, well, what is it that I need? What is it that, my business needs to be able to keep moving forward so I don't become stagnant and that I can continue to grow. And that's where I recognize, like, I definitely need to I need to be one for me. I would need it to be around like a group. Like I thrive
Yeah.
when it's a group, and then also someone who understands and embodies that feminine approach to business.
Mm.
In this first couple of years of business, it is natural. You do hustle, and
Yeah.
there's always going to be parts in your business that you do need to, but it's
Yeah.
not. You can't continue doing that. So for me, it was really uncomfortable, and I'm still learning, but
Yeah.
being able to lean into that slowness of
Mm.
business. Um, and so when you announced the Kindred Collective, there was just those elements that was again, it was a no-brainer. I was like, yes, I'm going to also, be in this space that is safe.
Yes.
And that for me was, yeah, when I saw like knowing what you deliver and how as well being in your sphere, Rachel, like it was, yeah, again, it was a no-brainer for me to jump in. So when I remember the first session we had, oh my gosh, I was full of tears, like all the emotions and everything. And
Yeah.
it was, it was the place that I needed to be able to, like, for me, uh, being in that safe space and being able to go through those and to be
Mm.
supported.
Yeah.
Because I, at that point, which was only May this year, that,
Yeah.
my business has been, is quite successful, but it was getting to that point. It was like, okay, well, there's parts that I wanted to grow and, pivot into. And I
Mm.
just, mindset. And then there's quite a few things that were challenging me with that. So being able to go through the Kindred Collective and everything that you're delivering in there has allowed me to embrace the soft side of me, the slowness of business,
Mm.
which, you know, which has allowed me to, now I'm now pivoting and got a brand new service coming out in 2024. But to know that, that has come from being able to be slow, which
Yes.
sounds really weird
An
because you think, oh, if
oxymoron.
you
Yeah. Doesn't
you
make
think of
sense.
the hustle,
Yeah.
but that's where it's the the seed was already planted, but it was just that nurturing that has allowed it to grow.
Oh, that's such a beautiful way to put it. I love that. It's so true though. Like creativity is found in the white space. And,
Yeah.
these mums in business who are working at home go, hustle, hustle, hustle while the kids are in care or at school, only to just be hustling to be mum. Because let's face it, like it's a tough gig being a
Yeah.
mum. It doesn't stop. And then you're trying to build a business on top of that.
It's hard.
Sometimes you just need to slow down to speed up and allow yourself to enjoy what you've created, like to enjoy the journey, to enjoy the process. And that's where, funnily enough, like when you kind of relax a bit, grow. And I just love the way that you put that. So thank you for sharing that. Just quickly, what do you think is the biggest thing that you've overcome or achieved by being part of it, part of the Kindred Collective?
The personal development for me, being able to accept who I am,
Mm.
who I am as a whole, not just parts of me. And, there's parts of, I've definitely shoved to the side that I didn't want to deal with. So being able to, to be able to do that in a safe space and, it's about business and personal. So I think that's where, it's really allowed me to be able to accept that, this is who I am and that's okay. And this is who I am in my business. And
Yeah.
that's why now, like, I've, we were talking earlier about playing safe, if, I hadn't have invested, there has been some element where I have been playing safe and haven't backed myself, to be, to see, the value that I bring and of who I am as well, which funnily enough, all my clients and all prospective clients want to see that.
Yeah.
So being able to do that has definitely been, the highlight.
Well, I just shed a little quiet tear then. So I'm so grateful for you. I truly believe that we came into each other's worlds for a reason.
Oh, yes.
A few years, I can't even remember, a few years ago. So
Part
thank
of the
you so
furniture
much for
now.
sharing your journey and your experience so far. So far, because I just feel
Yes.
like you're on the cusp of just something epically amazing. But coming back to your journey and like having explored that, what would be your recommendation for a young brand builder wanting to accelerate her business, like just at the very beginning, who's like seeking that growth?
Yeah. I see that now even with my peers, and I always recommend about getting very clear on your messaging and who your branding is, because I think once you get your branding and your messaging done correctly, that's a huge pivotal point in your business. Not just for yourself, because it feels amazing when you get such an amazing brand and everything like that, but then your clients start seeing exactly who your business is or what your business is all about. So I think, definitely when you find yourself in that position, make jump at it. And I know sometimes it is quite scary making a big decision like that. But it honestly it pays off so quickly. Um, because then, if you don't get your messaging right, if you don't get your branding right, you run the risk of your business and your clients. It's going to be such a long time for them to understand and to be able to see, like, okay, well, are you the person to help me? So you want to be able to convey that, you are the right person for them. And I think, getting your branding done in the early stages is really quite critical. It probably pains me to say, being, what I do, but I would be more so, getting that done before anything else, like, your websites, your, copywriting and everything like that. I think, it really is part of your foundation for your business.
Yeah.
And, when we say, or for me, I like, sometimes you say foundations and some people will automatically think like, oh, well, what systems am I going to use? What services?
Yeah.
Like, I think, branding is in that. Like, I think a lot of people tend to think that's later down the track. It's like, well,
Yeah.
no, it's actually one of the first things you really need to establish so you can then really set your business up for success.
Yes. Yes. Preach, sister. I love that. So thank you so much. And thank you so much for helping me to celebrate our 100th episode of Brands Bubble. I can't believe it's been 100 episodes. It blows my mind that when I embarked on this exploration journey that I would end up getting here. So here's to the next 100.
That's it. Ching.
So thank you. And I just have some rapid fire questions, which I know you're familiar with them. You probably know them off by heart by now. What's your favorite app?
Oh, app Canva.
Canva. Nice. Time of day?
Ooh, 7:00 at night.
Night.
Yep.
Bedtime for the little miss.
Yep. House is quiet.
Yeah. The ducks are asleep. The magpie's been fed.
Yep. He's in his cage. He's sleeping.
Perfect. Exercise?
I love netball. I love netball.
Yes.
Yeah.
Habit or ritual?
Ooh, I have been really bad at them, but ever since starting in the collective, I have introduced some really good ones that have really benefited me, and I think journaling has been the best. And journaling from the point of taking my thoughts out to put them somewhere, so then that allows me with anxiety, all those things, I can actually take it and just sort of relax.
Yeah, surrendering. Love
Yeah.
it. Okay, favorite way to relax?
Music. Love my music.
Oh, yes, you do. Tell us what's your favorite band?
Oh, it goes from one extreme to the other. Like it's gone from so like Green Day to Christian Larson. So like from rock to country to metal. I love all my music.
Buy the Guns N' Roses t-shirt that you shared in my Instagram stories yesterday. I thought, oh, that's a good. I'm going to ask that question. All right, last one. What's your favorite thing about your business?
That it's me. Me to a point, to a T. And
alignment.
Yeah.
Love that. Best answer. All right, lovely. If somebody is listening and they're interested in chatting with you, or asking you a question, or exploring your amazing Kajabi services, where can they find you?
Come and hang out with me on Instagram. That is definitely where I am most active. Any questions, anything, please don't ever hesitate to slide on over into the DMs. I am always open to having a chat.
Thank you so much, Monique.
Thank you so much for having me, Rach.
If you found this episode inspiring or helpful, I invite you to share the link with another woman in business or someone who needs to hear this message. Every woman we can support to grow a meaningful, profitable brand is another woman who is free to live a purposeful life for herself and be more present for her family. None of us are alone in the challenges we face in business, but the solution can start with a gift from someone else, and it could be a podcast episode just like this one. Thank you for listening.